Now let's talk about the movement of the body in two senses. The lateral sense and the vertical sense, because both can affect your ability to strike the golf ball cleanly, and if you're doing one really well but not the other, you're still going to catch it heavy and still going to get that ground contact first. What we're going to try to achieve is that we mentioned obviously about that sort of drill with the wrist conditions and getting ourselves a little bit forward when we're coming into impact. Now this alignment stick that now everyone who is watching this is going to do every time they practice to check their ball position can also help you to understand where your body is when it comes to the impact position. Using my buttons of my shirt as the reference point, or my mic in this instant, if I can make sure that I'm definitely in my lee side more and I can feel that the buttons of my shirt are the target side of the alignment stick, I know that my movement laterally is going to help me to achieve ball contact first. So when I'm swinging this golf club, we obviously do load into our trail side a little bit. But in an ideal sense, we don't want too much movement this way. I can use the alignment stick to feel that I'm nicely centered during my backswing, and I don't mind a little bit of head movement, but we don't want to see a big shift over to the trail side because you're never going to have the time to get back into the correct place where you are further forward than you were at your address position. It is a lot easier to feel that we are rotating around, staying fairly central, and then shifting into our lead side to move the buttons of my shirt to the target side of the alignment stick. If you feel that you are swaying off the golf ball, just maybe have that feeling of where the alignment stick is. And if you just keep an eye on the alignment stick, do it a few rehearsals, you can hopefully feel the difference. And it's normally to do with the trail foot. If your trail foot is definitely sort of rolling onto the outside of its foot and sort of like your big trail toe is off of the ground, just try and feel that you are pushing that foot into the ground. Because if you feel like you can push that into the ground, you are going to stop yourself from moving too far off the golf ball. Just feel that you are pushing into that trail foot can help you stay nicely centered. Then, using that ground, we can then actually start to push with our trail foot into our lead side to get the buttons of the shirt in front of the golf ball. That's where using the alignment stick for your ball position reference and from a lateral perspective can definitely help you to achieve the correct strike. Then the vertical sense, which I don't think gets spoken about enough. When I am standing on the ground and I'm in my setup position, that club head is on the ground. That is the low point of the arc. Now, if I was in this position at the start and I just stood up, I have obviously raised the bottom of the arc of the swing off the ground just through a raising of my body. So therefore, I can do the opposite if I lower myself, which unfortunately means that the low point of the arc gets further down into the ground. Now, if you've watched my Pitch It a Little Closer series, you will know it's exactly the same principle. So the one thing we've got to be careful about is the fact that if we're getting lower coming into impact, that as much as the low point is now deeper into the ground, the entry point of the arc to get that deeper low point is going to be before the golf ball. And that is going to stop you from getting that ball contact first. Now, I know you're going to go, well, I've seen Rory McIlroy drive the golf ball and he sinks in his transition between backswing and downswing. Yes, but he also propels himself upwards coming into the strike. There is definitely an element of a sit or a squat and then a vertical force going upwards. Most amateurs, in my opinion, don't do that enough. So therefore they are still too low, and therefore we could be catching the ground before the golf ball just because technically the low point is just deeper into the ground rather than being that sort of that maintaining the level. So from a depth perspective, you just want to feel that with the little bit of knee flex, that you may be getting slightly down in that transition, pushing into your lead side, which is obviously correct, shifting your low point after the alignment stick, but you nearly want to feel that your lead leg is starting to work upwards. If you're noticing you keep hitting the ground early, it could just be that you are too low to the ground and pushing that low point deeper into the ground. So shifting pressure has two directions, a lateral sense and a vertical sense. If we get too lateral to the trail side, we struggle to get into a good position at the impact. If I can stay fairly central in my backswing and then shift into my lead side in the downswing, that's going to move the low point after the golf ball. If I can control my depth, and again, when we talked about posture at the start of the series, if I'm changing my posture, getting to the same place is going to be a lot harder to do so. So if I can maintain my posture, maintain my knee flex to a point, maybe feel that I'm getting taller as I go through the shot, I control the depth and therefore hopefully can strike this golf ball cleanly first of all. Ooh, a little heavy, but that was really quite a nice shot.